You explained to me how the man mired mired for years now in lurid sex abuse allegations, vehemently denied, but whenever you are reminded of the vehement denial, you must also be reminded of the millions of pounds paid to one of his accusers in order to make one legal case go away. Gets an absolute gets a comparatively easy ride from the UK media, even in the last year, even post-disgrace, even post-payment, when he's sort of slowly crept back into the royal entourage at Sandringham on Christmas Day, or he's slowly crept back into the sort of public space. Was he allowed to wear a uniform? And Harry wasn't at one event. I could have misremembered that, or maybe they changed their mind at the last minute. But the idea that he gets an easier ride than his nephew, who has done nothing wrong, is extraordinary. And I'd like you to explain it to a mythical listener who's been asleep for 10 years.
In the spirit of James O'Brien, I wish someone would explain to me why Richard Eden of the Daily Mail penned an article titled, "Why King Charles Should Leave Prince Andrew Alone and Act Now Over Troublemaking Harry and Meghan Instead." In essence, Eden suggests that King Charles should stop bullying Andrew and instead focus on Harry and Meghan, whom he accuses of disloyalty and troublemaking. This argument is not only misguided, but also reflects a disturbing attempt to downplay Prince Andrew's egregious actions, while vilifying Prince Harry and Meghan Markle for daring to speak their truth. Eden's article begins by drawing a false equivalence between Prince Andrew and the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. He argues that despite Andrew's failings, he has never been disloyal to the royal family, unlike Harry and Meghan, who have made a career out of disloyalty. This comparison is deeply flawed for several reasons. First and foremost, the failings that Eden refers to are not minor indiscretions, but rather serious allegations of sexual abuse and inappropriate associations. Prince Andrew's involvement with Jeffrey Epstein, a convicted sex offender, and the subsequent accusations by Virginia Roberts-Giuffre, who claims that Andrew sexually abused her when she was 17, are not matters to be dismissed lightly. The fact that Andrew settled with Giuffre for a reported £12 million rather than defending himself in court raises significant questions about his innocence. While settling a case is not an admission of guilt, it certainly does not exonerate him either. In contrast, the so-called disloyalty of Harry and Meghan stems from their decision to speak openly about their experiences within the royal family, including the racism and lack of support they encountered. These are not crimes. They are expressions of personal truth and calls for accountability. The contrast between Andrew's disloyalty to the moral conduct expected of all human beings and Harry's commitment to upholding moral integrity by speaking out is stark. Eden's article, however, suggests that the royal family is the one institution to which one must remain loyal, even if it means being disloyal to basic human decency and moral conduct. Let's dive deeper. Eden's defense of Prince Andrew hinges on the argument that Andrew has remained loyal to the royal family, despite the numerous indignities he has suffered. But this raises a critical question. What is more important, loyalty to an institution or loyalty to the principles of moral conduct and humanity? Prince Andrew's actions, associating with a known sex offender and settling a serious accusation of sexual abuse, represent a profound disloyalty to the moral standards that should govern all human behaviour. By suggesting that Andrew's loyalty to the royal family outweighs his moral failings, Eden implies that the institution of the monarchy is more important than the well-being and dignity of individuals. This is a dangerous and misguided notion. Loyalty to an institution should never come at the expense of ethical conduct and respect for human rights. In stark contrast, Harry and Meghan's so-called disloyalty is, in fact, a commitment to moral integrity. By speaking out against the racism and lack of support they experienced within the royal family, they have upheld the principle that nothing is above the well-being of a single human being. Their actions reflect a belief that the monarchy, like any other institution, must be held accountable when it fails to protect and respect the dignity of its members. Harry and Meghan's decision to prioritise their mental health and their family's safety over blind loyalty to the monarchy is a courageous stand for moral integrity. Eden's suggestion that King Charles should stump up the security bill for Royal Lodge without complaint and let Andrew stay is an alarming attempt to normalise Andrew's actions. By focusing on the financial and logistical aspects of Andrew's situation, Eden conveniently sidesteps the much larger issue: Andrew's alleged involvement in a global sex trafficking ring and his refusal to fully cooperate with legal authorities investigating Epstein's crimes. The idea that Andrew's worst sin is simply poor judgment in choosing friends and associates is a gross understatement of the gravity of the accusations against him. And it is deeply troubling that Eden would advocate for leniency towards Andrew while calling for harsher treatment of Harry and Meghan. Eden calls for King Charles to turn his sights on Harry and Meghan before they set off on yet another troublemaking faux royal tour. This is not only hypocritical, but also reveals a deep-seated bias against the Sussexes. The idea that Harry and Meghan's advocacy work and public engagements are troublemaking is absurd. The Sussexes have used their platform to raise awareness of important issues such as mental health, racial equality, and social justice. Their efforts have been widely recognised and praised globally, yet Eden dismisses them as mere attention-seeking stunts. Moreover, the suggestion that Harry and Meghan should be treated more harshly than Andrew is indefensible. What exactly have Harry and Meghan done that is so egregious as to warrant such treatment? Their crime appears to be speaking out against the very institution that Eden seeks to protect. They have dared to challenge the status quo, to question the monarchy's handling of personal and public issues, and to seek a life of autonomy and purpose outside of the royal bubble. In contrast, Andrew's actions have not only brought shame to the royal family, but have also raised serious ethical and legal concerns. Yet, according to Eden, Andrew deserves leniency while Harry and Meghan deserve punishment. This is not just a double standard, it is an outright distortion of what is right and just. Eden's defense of Andrew hinges on the idea that loyalty to the royal family is the ultimate virtue. He praises Andrew for never speaking ill of the royal family, despite the myriad indignities he has suffered. But what does this loyalty mean when it is used to shield someone from accountability? Loyalty, in Eden's view, seems to be more about silence and complicity than about doing what is right. In contrast, Harry and Meghan's decision to speak out about their experiences is portrayed as disloyalty. But true loyalty is not about blind allegiance. It is about being honest and holding those you care about to high standards. Harry and Meghan's critiques of the royal family are not acts of betrayal. They are calls for reflection, growth, and improvement. By sharing their struggles, they have opened up important conversations about the institution's role in perpetuating harmful practices and attitudes. Their actions are rooted in a desire to see positive change, not in a desire to tear down the monarchy. Eden's article ultimately highlights a broader issue within the monarchy: the lack of accountability for those who wield power and influence. The fact that Andrew has been allowed to maintain his titles and privileges, despite the serious allegations against him, is a testament to the monarchy's reluctance to hold its members accountable. Meanwhile, Harry and Meghan have been vilified and ostracised for daring to challenge the institution's norms and practices. This double standard is not only unfair, but also undermines the credibility of the monarchy. How can the public trust an institution that seems more concerned with protecting its image than with doing what is right? By advocating for leniency towards Andrew and harsher treatment of the Sussexes, Eden is perpetuating a system that values loyalty over integrity, silence over truth, and complicity over justice.
Angela is in Bracknell. Angela, what made you pick up the phone?
Because I've always liked Prince Harry,
Yes.
and I do feel that he has been totally wronged by the British media.
Richard Eden's article is a stark reminder of the deep-seated biases and double standards that continue to plague the British royal family. His defence of Prince Andrew and his call for harsher treatment of Harry and Meghan reflect a misguided belief that loyalty to the institution is more important than accountability and justice. This approach not only fails to address the serious allegations against Andrew, but also unfairly vilifies the Sussexes for their courage in speaking out. In the end, the true measure of loyalty is not blind allegiance, but a commitment to doing what is right, even when it is difficult. Harry and Meghan have shown this kind of loyalty to their values and their family, and they should be commended, not condemned, for it. Thank you for watching.